Welcome to the A2B1 podcast. Today we're going to pin your favorite Shonen Jump protagonists together in a battle royale tournament. Pinning them together and seeing how they match up with using any criteria you want. I'm joined with Brandon Joestar, Axel Powers, and myself, Aaron Sal. And we're going to decide who gets the belt today. Brandon, what's our first matchup?
Well, our first matchup, and to do a quick clarification, like he said, we can use any criteria. We're not necessarily doing which one we think is more powerful than the others. That would be a totally different thing. This is more just who adds more complexity to the story, who's a better character. Yeah, who's the better protagonist, their influence, things like that. So there's going to be a number of things, whatever criteria. You know how we do our brackets here, but let's not wait around anymore. Let's
decide who gets the belt.
All right, first we have Natsu from Fairy Tail against Ichigo from Bleach. That's a wash! That's a wash!
I think it's a wash, but I definitely understand people who think Natsu would be a better character because he does go through different things in his anime. I just don't like the anime.
Oh yeah, Ichigo don't go through nothing.
I will say Ichigo's very reactionary as a protagonist instead of stuff has to happen to him for him to take initiative in the story.
Well, yeah. Luffy, and that's what I'm saying, not Luffy.
What in the world?
Natsu
is very you're hurting my friends. Let me do things to you.
He has a goal that he's gonna
but I'm saying he doesn't have to have stuff happen just to him.
It's a wash.
It's a wash. But I'm saying I understand people's mindset and why they would think Natsu
I just don't understand people's mindset for liking Fairy Tail in general. But
I tell people all the time.
Discussion for another time. But I agree. I think that Ichigo wins. It's a 3-0 wash.
It is a wash!
But
it is a wash.
I still have some qualms with Ichigo as a protagonist.
There's things I don't like about him.
We'll get onto that in the next round.
I'm not
Move him up! 3 count! Natsu's out!
Okay. That was my happiest 3 count, I think. I think Natsu's my least favorite one on the list that we have, and I know I'm being a little biased there.
Move on.
Anyway, I am giving my reasoning.
But you tried to interrupt me.
Anyway.
I reckon. So next up, we have Yugi / Yami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Who would have guessed?
Do you not think those are different characters?
They literally exist simultaneously.
Yeah, they're dual protagonists. They're both the protagonists.
They're different characters at the last episode. That's it. The rest of the time, they're the same dude.
Technically, Yami's more the main character than Yugi is.
Yeah.
They have different minds, so they're different characters.
Well, let's take elements from both of them. And then in Pokemon, how about this? Where we got Ash Ketchum and Pikachu from Pokemon. Oh, they're one and the same.
They're not.
But they were together.
They have different bodies.
Name one episode Pikachu's in that Ash isn't. There might be one episode.
There is.
Oh yeah, name one.
There's episodes where Pikachu gets lost.
Ash lost him at the beginning.
There's literally a Christmas special. I think it was a Christmas special where Pikachu was just playing around with his buddies while Ash went and did something.
Okay.
We're getting out of hand here. Let's talk about.
Let's actually discuss the character.
The clear winner. Actually, I don't know. This one's a little tougher because Yugi / Okay, so I am clearly biased towards Yugi / Yami Yugi because Yu-Gi-Oh is it's a trading card game we all play. It is one I highly enjoy. He's very iconic. I definitely talk about him more than I do Ash, but I would be understating if I didn't say that Ash was literally not only the backbone of the franchise, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has, multiple series. We're trying to just do the iconic one, because 5Ds is the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Discussion for another time. It's not debatable. But Ash is literally, the one and only.
Literally, the best protagonist of the 3 is Jaden. But anyway.
Well, I literally grew up watching Pokemon.
I have plenty of reasons.
I've watched all the Pokemon series. I love the series. The problem I have with Ash, and I love Ash as a character, the problem I have with him is, he doesn't really change. And that's my biggest thing. He doesn't really change as far as his, character and how he, goes about things, even though he's went through all these trials and stuff before.
So you say that, and I agree. But Little Yugi did the same thing, especially because of the Dark Side of Dimensions movie, which is canon.
Yeah.
Because Yugi, his whole thing was that he needed Yugi to help him, or Tim, if you want to call him that. Like, he needed him the whole time, and then at the very end, he beats him in a duel, showing he doesn't need him anymore. But in the Dark Side of Dimensions movie, he duels the main villain, who ends up being Bakura again. For whatever, Zork, if you want. But anyway, he ends up needing the Pharaoh, so Yugi has to come back again to save him at the very, very end. So... But he also didn't change.
But at least he had that one defining moment where you like saw he changed as a person. Ash, you don't have that.
Well, and I mean, factoring Yami in with it also does do something. But this is my thing about Ash. My only thing with Ash is I think him not changing is an argument.
A lot of people say it helps.
Well, see, and that's what I'm saying. It's an argument that he's not the best protagonist, but at the same time, the reason it's good is because Pokemon has been so long-standing, even the anime. The reason the anime is still so popular today is, I think, because it does use a similar formula, but Ash is still the loving, charming, really awesome protagonist that we all thought he was when we were kids. And even though we feel like it's kind of been overdone and stuff because of how long the series have run, the reason Pokemon is continuing isn't necessarily for us. There's certain shows that evolve with the generation that it came out with. Pokemon's not one of those. I think Pokemon, yes, you can definitely be an older fan and still like the show, but I think a lot of the times the newer seasons and series are more appealing to newer generations getting into Pokemon, getting into the card game.
Thinking that they're Ash in the anime when they're watching it.
Like... Exactly. So that's why Ash, never ages and does this stuff. And I like a lot of the choices they make. Like, I like how it took Ash... 873 years to actually win a big tournament.
Oh, I mean, that was
and
then he actually won, and it was such a big
a blow up.
It was
everywhere.
Everyone just lost their shit over because they all everybody thought, oh, he loses,
exactly.
And then to flip the scripts, like, oh, he actually wins this time.
Yeah. Fans old and new appreciated that, and I think even though we nowadays can be like, oh, I haven't watched a Pokemon series in a while because it's just the same old stuff, kind of phase out of it. It's too long. Even if we have our reasons for not...
to you also.
Oh, yeah. Journey is amazing. A Journey appeals to all the fans because it puts all the different genres into one universe.
Well, see...
he goes through all these different, regions and everything. So I tell people, Journey will get old fans, new fans, and everybody under the sun to watch it.
And then on top of that, like I say, you've just got the fact that how much people celebrated when he won the tournament.
Oh, it was insane.
I think that's a testament to how good of a protagonist he is. If he wasn't a loved, iconic character, people would not have celebrated, that moment as much as they did in pop culture. That was a big deal for that reason. So I think it's...
my vote is obviously for Pokemon. I'm biased. I love Pokemon.
I'm biased towards Yu-Gi-Oh! In the sense of what it is, but I definitely think that... there's a huge argument for Ash. I definitely think so.
I'm definitely voting for Yami or Yugi, whatever.
Did I even sway y'all's opinion even a little bit?
I mean, you made good points. You definitely did with the whole, Pokemon.
But that's what I was saying. I didn't know if I got through to anybody.
And I think Ash is a decent. I do think it's somewhat closer. It's just I still have to favor.
Oh, I understand that. I was more or less just saying, in my opinion,
Tim does go through, at least a Tim goes through an arc and changes. Even though some of it's filler and all that, where he thought he was evil, and
you still see him change.
You still see him change. So
you've got a Tim for you.
Yeah, Tim.
I'm Pokemon man.
It's so hard.
I'm not gonna be mad either way.
I will give this one to Ash. I'll give it to Ash because, like I said, he is such an icon. I think that there's a lot to take into account.
If you know Pokemon, you know Ash. That's a big thing.
Next, we have Naruto from. What's the name of this? What's the name of this anime?
Boruto's dad.
Boruto's dad. We have Boruto's dad from the anime Naruto, and then we have Deku from My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia.
I mean,
Boku no Pico Academia.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start this off because...
Oh no! Let's let Brandon start this off.
Why do I get to start it off?
Oh, because
you know that I like My Hero.
I love My Hero too.
Okay, well,
I literally was the one to start watching it from this group.
Anyway, so
just like Jojo.
My Hero's
like
My Hero is definitely wonderful. I think fans of older shonens like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z and blah 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 One Piece, a lot of them I feel like enjoy crap talking the newer stuff because it's not the older stuff that we grew up on, even though I think there is heavy shades of not only just what made the older ones great, but there's also some modernization, and I think not only that, there's also really great character tropes and some good writing that goes along with it. So I think a lot of them are really underrated. My Hero is one of those anime that I really got into. I got super into it. I, as a huge anime fan and someone who's, grew up on it, watching stuff like, Ranma 1/2 and Fushigi Yugi and coming up to where I am, I can still appreciate a newer anime like My Hero. But the thing is, it's not necessarily a knock on My Hero because My Hero did nothing wrong. My Hero did nothing wrong, we clarify, but holy crap, I fell out of it so fast because I was introduced to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that became like my phenomenally #1 anime. Like, not even close.
I disagree with you. I think My Hero did wrong. Like, I think they took, because I love My Hero. I watched the first season, and that moment where Deku is being told by All Might that he can be a hero, I literally teared up because I was like, this is an amazing scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of anime because I just love it so much. But I will say, Deku as a character, I don't necessarily like his changes.
I think Deku is a protagonist. I think he is the weakest part of My Hero, to be honest.
His character changed so much, and I didn't like the changes because I liked the whole aspect of him being, I'm going to run in smiling, he was
also the thinker. He knew,
that's what I'm saying,
about
all this
works
stuff
and things and how it worked.
And now he's just smash.
And it's like, break my arm, cry some more.
Well, see, so this is the issue, though. This is the big issue I have, and this is kind of what I was leading up to. So, like I said, huge into My Hero, fell off because of JoJo. JoJo has a tendency to do that. But recently, I was like, you know what, I need to start watching My Hero again. I loved it so much. I was big into the memes and the culture and the cosplay and everything like that. So let me start back watching it. And I really enjoyed it because I started rewatching season 3 because I had only watched part of it.
So you saw Deku change.
Yes, but then I also watched season 4, which is what I just finished a couple days ago. And I'm telling you, me and Abby sat down to watch 1 or 2 episodes before bed, and we stayed up until late in the AM because we could not stop. I could not stop because it was so good.
You're talking about the anime.
Yes. He gets a protagonist.
Yes, but this is all with Deku's fight with Overhaul and everything that happens there.
But that's enjoying the anime episode, not the protagonist.
No, but I'm saying I enjoy. I'm really enjoying the turn that's happening with Deku and how he had his thing with Night Eye. He had his thing with Night Eye. He literally, he did his thing where he changed the future. And this is my problem. My only problem is that we've watched the anime. We haven't read the manga. And every My Hero, you see memes all over for My Hero that's got the little glacier up at the top, and it's My Hero parts 1 through 3, or seasons 1 through 4, whatever. And then it's the rest of My Hero is the deep glacier because of how deep and dark and crazy it gets. And that's why I say that I don't know the lengths that Deku goes because I don't read the manga. And so because I haven't gone super far into it, I do have a bias.
I was going to say, a lot of people who read the manga, a lot of people have said, if you're going to read the manga, just read the spin-off. What is the spin-off called?
That was a long time ago when people were saying stuff like that.
I still hear people talking about it. They still say Vigilante is better than My Hero.
But this is we're talking about
protagonist. He's talking about the manga. And
yes,
I'm saying if you read the manga, you don't
talking about the manga has more depth. With
I'm saying that because think about the beginning. The first line you hear is, "This is the story of how I became, Earth's greatest hero." So it's one of those things where that's the climactic buildup, and so this is part of his journey. And yes, he may not be, in my opinion, the strongest character in the show, nor my favorite. But he definitely has a charm to him. He has things that are, really relatable and things that people can really get behind, especially, having his quirklessness, his drive, his, effort, changing up his styles, doing what he can to save people, nobility. But then you also have the fact of the unknown about what's to come. He might get worse as a character. He might stay the same, or he might get better. So I think that's
here's my thing about Deku. He is just a worse copy of Naruto. Naruto went through the same things. He was bullied all throughout his life.
I mean, he was more the bully. He was shunned.
He wanted to be Hokage.
He was alone his entire life.
Yeah, I mean, literally, what he went through was worse. And the experiences Naruto went to and where he is now, or at least at the end,
he evolves so much.
He evolves, like he matures, like he feels like an adult by the end of the series. Like instead of a kid, he has more like adult features.
I mean, when you get into Shippuden, I definitely I feel like he's an adult then.
Like when he all the time he spent with Jiraiya
in Boruto, I feel like he's an adult then.
Yeah, with 2 kids. But no, I definitely feel like he's one of the protagonists that I can say in Shonen have evolved the most.
Oh yes.
Like he went from just an absolute brat to a very respectable Hokage.
Well, he was a brat, but he also had the layers. So you had to understand why he acted out, because he acted out because he wanted attention.
So this is my only comment. My only comment is that I agree with what you're saying about Naruto. I think my only issue is that, similar to Deku, Naruto is not my favorite character in his show. And not only is Naruto not my favorite character in the show, he's not very close for me. Like, I don't think he cracks the top 10. I'd have to think about it, but I don't think he cracks the top 10 for me. And I think that's a testament to, like I say, there are some great heroes in my...
But we're not talking about characters.
I know.
Protagonists.
But, buddy, this is what I'm saying. In my hero, if I take Deku and where Deku's at on my favorite characters, and Naruto where he's at on my favorite characters from that show, I think Deku's higher in comparative to other ones.
Understandable.
So that's why I'm saying that there are things about Naruto I like, but where people think that Deku gets overshadowed by the cast around him, I don't think he gets overshadowed as much as Naruto. Naruto is this big protagonist who has, his backstory. He has these relatable things. But to me, there are so many more beloved characters. People, you love, Rock Lee. People love Gaara. People love Itachi. People love Jiraiya.
But Naruto still sticks out above those characters, though.
But that's the thing. I mean, in the anime, from a protagonist perspective, yes, because he's the protagonist. But I'm saying as far as how people enjoy him and who people tend to, veer towards and relate to, Naruto, he has his popularity because he is, of course, again, a protagonist. But
I think he has popularity because he's a good character. I think Naruto's a good character.
I'm not basing my opinion off of popularity. I'm basing it upon what I feel like, who I think is the better protagonist.
But no, I get that. But I'm trying to stress to him that even though Naruto is the protagonist, even when people they're like Rock Lee's my favorite character, they still recognize that Naruto is an amazing character because of all the things he went through and the emotional toll behind him and everything. He had to go through to get to the point where he had the friends, he had family, he had the stuff.
No one who's watched all of Naruto can say he is a bad protagonist.
Well, see, and I'm not... Okay, I'm trying to... I think this is the best way I can word it. The best way I can word it is what I'm saying is Naruto is a good protagonist, not taking that away from him. He's definitely iconic. I think where he suffers from is that even though he is, the protagonist of his show, there are so many different, almost side stories and different characters that a lot of different episodes focus on. I mean, there's a lot in the series. There's a whole lot. And so it's one of those things where you get bits and pieces of all these people, and that's why people can really learn to appreciate characters like Gaara and Sasuke and Rock Lee and all that stuff because of the side elements where you can go episodes upon episodes and arcs that don't really focus on Naruto as much. Whereas in My Hero, basically everything is either revolving around Deku or involving Deku. I mean, it's not even the things that are heavily All Might influenced. When you've got his fight with All For One, it still stemmed from Deku's plan to go out and make this thing happen, going through the shadows. Even though All Might was clearly the center focus, Deku has his hand and feet in basically everything related to My Hero. Naruto doesn't always do that, and it is a much longer anime, and we have a lot more to go off of because My Hero's not done, so maybe that would change. But that's the thing. I'm not saying, again, and I'm not even saying that I think Naruto is a worse protagonist than Deku. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I see different elements, using different criteria is what I'm getting at. How Naruto, as relatable and good of a protagonist as he is, his involvement as a whole in Naruto, there's just so many side quests you can say, and so many characters and so much action that it can take away. Deku, you almost are forced to watch him, and that can be a bad thing. That could be a knock against him.
So I understand what you're saying, but I feel like a lot of those plot points you're talking about, where Naruto is not a part of it, is the filler.
Yeah, I was going to say, Naruto is the highest anime for filler.
If you, half of Shippuden's filler.
Yeah, of course.
So if you take out the filler part, literally, Naruto's playing a role in
everything.
Yes. Now, I'm sure you're talking about, like, what's going on with the Akatsuki and stuff. Like, Naruto doesn't have as much of a relationship.
Or like Rock Lee's fight with Gaara.
Well, I think it's more like we've talked about, like we've said before, that's the thing about, anime. It's like how when we did our DBZ podcast, we discussed GT even though it's not canon. Even if it may be filler, it is still part of it's things that people watch that grew them attached.
Well, at that point, it depends on your criteria.
Yeah.
Using his criteria, not
because when I watched Naruto and Shippuden, I skipped all the filler. I waited until the series was over, and I didn't watch any filler.
Yeah, and I know there's definitely people who did that, but I guess that's what I'm saying is a lot of these, like, individual things that happen in filler episodes and things that happen even in non-filler episodes that make you gravitate towards other characters in the show, that is still an element of the anime itself. Even if it's not in the manga, it is in the anime. So, I don't know. I'm just saying it's not super easy for me. But anyway.
I definitely understand your criteria. I understand his criteria. I just don't think...
Aaron's like, I understand my criteria.
But I don't think there's any part of me, no matter what you say about Deku or whatever, personally, I don't like how he changed. And then even excluding how I personally feel, I just don't think all the things Naruto went through and all the things Deku currently went through, I just don't think you can compare them.
And that's another thing. Like, Naruto is a completed, done character.
That is also fair.
So he benefits
technically,
from
he's
that.
not because of Naruto.
Just wait until
he's,
Deku...
But he's had his journey.
But he's still involved with
Look,
Naruto.
just wait until Deku's fighting a big bad and he goes, all for one, shoot style, and he pulls...
Big bad.
No.
He pulls out two guns.
Pulls out two blinkies.
Two
shoot
blocks.
style. Da-da-da-da-da. And then you're going to be like,
your quirk,
he is the best.
Your quirk can protect you from my punches? What about this? Your quirk can protect you from my punches? What about a Glock?
All right, so Aaron, who's your vote?
My vote
Deku?
is...
Okay.
No, it's Naruto.
It's Naruto.
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, it's 2-3 anyway, but I mean, I will still have picked Naruto. I went through this discussion to basically highlight that by the end of the series, I don't know if I'll stick with that, but definitely at the moment, that's what I'm going to give it to. So then, next on the list, we have... This is a good one. This is a big boy. We have Goku from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and every other Dragon Ball criteria. And then we have Yusuke Urameshi from
this one's a wash.
Yeah, I think it's a wash.
Big wash.
Is it a wash?
Yes.
Oh, wait, hold on, because this is the thing. You say it's a wash. I genuinely don't know who you're saying it's a wash for.
Goku is not a good character.
No, I won't say that. Goku's a good character.
No, I don't think he's a good character.
We've had this discussion before in the Dragon Ball
But I'm just saying his whole character's, I want to fight the strongest guy. I don't care about my family.
And that's not necessarily the case, though. We've talked about this in the Dragon Ball podcast, so if you want to learn more about that, go watch it.
Check it out.
But Yusuke, I think, is one of the protagonists who's had he develops the most from beginning to end.
You just said the same thing about Naruto.
Okay,
I said he was one of them. I think,
one
like,
of them.
Yusuke, though, I think is probably number one.
Oh, that's why I'm saying it's a wash. But I'm
because
saying
he is a brat kid. Like, at the beginning of the series, he's a brat punk kid that thinks that nobody cares about him. Literally, the first episode, he dies and realizes how much...
Spoiler alert!
It's literally the first episode.
Spoiler alert!
He dies and figures out how much he's loved and everything. So when he comes back as a spirit detective, he becomes more open to his emotions and caring about other people. And as the story progresses, he meets more and more people that he cares about. And then slowly develops into...
Kind of like the Naruto thing. He just keeps gaining friends.
Yeah, I just think that the way Yusuke went about it was a little bit better.
Well, see, I don't think there's any argument that Yusuke is not only a phenomenal character, but one of the best anime protagonists. He's one of the only anime protagonists, I think, who is universally the favorite character of the series, at least for the most part. It's like, there are so many anime where you have these iconic characters, like, for example, Naruto. You have Naruto, but they're not always necessarily the absolute fan favorite. Yusuke, it is hard, I think, to not have Yusuke at least crack your top 3 from his own show, and that doesn't happen all the time.
And that's very powerful to say because Hiei, Kuwabara,
it is a monster lineup.
All of those characters are great.
Oh,
Even the villains are great with younger Toguro.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Like,
Yusuke's relationship with younger Toguro. The way that, like, Yusuke at the beginning... Like, he's afraid of him, but at the same time, he admires his power.
Well, I mean, in his anime...
In a way, younger Toguro is also a mentor to Yusuke, and he starts to respect him throughout the battle. And then he ends younger Togoro's life, and that's what he always wanted.
And don't forget the kissing scene where they just tongued under that oak tree. That was pure meta.
But, what I was going to say, plus for him, is that everybody he fights, he fights them, and he usually ends up beating them. But at some point, like he understands their mindset with the whole how they're demons and everything, and they're shunned and everything, and he usually gains them to become his friend opposed to still being his enemy.
That's another thing. He has a general hate for demons throughout most of it, but then after the stuff with Sensui and figuring out that he himself is a demon, he completely gets over the fact that they eat people and stuff. They're like, well, that's just natural.
Well, all his enemies usually become his friend by the end.
Goku makes for enemies.
That's just not. Like,
no, okay.
So for the very beginning.
So this is my thing. Not okay.
Oh no. I guess.
But again, it's
a big villain.
It's an argument for Goku too. But this is my thing. Again,
Goku
all
doesn't
those things. What?
Vegeta.
Yeah, he does.
Vegeta.
He has teamed up.
I forgot about the.
I forgot about Tien, Piccolo, and the androids.
That's my bad.
He didn't really make friends with them.
But I mean,
fucked one of them.
Still.
Krillin was just like, I want to get with this babe.
Anyway, but this is my thing, is that I don't think it can be understated. He is an icon.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He does have...
Like, he's a huge icon for his
show.
So
even though, like, he definitely has... Like not the best writing. There are a lot of things about him that are, very much the same. He doesn't have the best development in his show. All those things I agree with, and I think Yusei is the opposite end of the spectrum. I think Yusei and Yu Yu Hakusho in general and it's hard to say in the anime community, Yu Yu Hakusho I think is underrated for what it is. I say that because I think it is one of, if not the best anime of all time.
People
I don't
won't
think
watch it just because of the age. There's a lot of people like this generation that won't watch it because it's old.
Well, that's why I say that it's definitely underrated. But at the same time, diehard anime fans I think know and recognize the worth of it. But I still say it broadly because everyone knows who Goku is. Goku, I definitely think, is overrated as a character, but at the same time, he is definitely someone who, even a person like me, who I am, DBZ is not, anywhere in my top favorite anime. It's definitely in my most memorable. It's in, one of like the most accomplished and impactful.
So many discussions you've had about it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those things where it's not necessarily one of my favorites.
Goku
but I still recognize that. Oh God, no. I still recognize that when things happen with Goku or things happen in Dragon Ball, I still get excited. I still get hyped. Yu Yu Hakusho doesn't play that card. They're not long range. They're not continuous. So it's like you have to enjoy it for what it is. And I think Yusuke is incredible.
I will say these fights, I really enjoy. There's a lot of them that I'm just like is bad, but majority of like Dragon Ball Z's fights, I thoroughly enjoy the fight. Like we just had we had a conversation about Super. If you want to learn more about that, check it out. But because the fights with in Super I enjoyed because I love side characters, and all these fights I saw with the side characters I just truly enjoyed. So that's a big plus for like the series, but not for Goku.
So Goku, I do think is a good character to an extent. Through all of Dragon Ball, I think he develops great. I think he's a pretty good example of a good developing character. But once you get into Z and Super, his character progression ceases, and he actually degresses. He goes backwards.
He gets dumber.
And so that's the big thing. So
yeah, and I think that's the tough part. I think that's the reason I say it's not necessarily a wash. It's not a wash to me because I think that there's such different criteria. There are such different criteria. You have a really well written, really underrated character from arguably one of the best and most well-written and beloved anime, and then you've got the hugest, like the biggest anime icon, the absolute, like, I don't even know if that's arguable, biggest anime icon. You're pinning those two, and I think that's what makes it tough. But we can go ahead and get into voting. So
I think I made mine apparently clear. It's Yusuke.
Yeah, mine's also Yusuke.
Oh, he almost swayed, Mr. Wash in the beginning.
I was almost swayed. I definitely was.
I'll give it to Yusuke too.
Oh, so you're not gonna pick Dragon Ball Z?
Again, I've got to argue for it because it's definitely close. It is definitely close, just like the last.
The more we talked about it, I understood why it was close.
So next we're gonna use Jotaro Kujo, even though Jonathan's the best.
Because Joseph's way better.
Jonathan is the best. We're gonna use Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And we are going to use Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
So this is a sad round for the JoJo fans out there.
We've talked a lot about JoJo. I don't think we need to discuss this a lot because if people want to hear
two videos on the podcast.
Yeah, you can go check out our other podcast episodes. Fullmetal Alchemist, I just believe is a better character than him. I'm sorry.
Fullmetal Alchemist.
I mean, he is called the Fullmetal Alchemist.
Like,
even though he's not the one that's made of all metal.
I just think he's a better character. I think he has a lot more. I don't know if the best word would be development, but he definitely goes through a lot, and it's just honestly I think it's a better anime. I think it's better.
If you're comparing Part 3 and Fullmetal Alchemist, that's fair.
No, JoJo as a whole. Part 7, Steel Ball Run, just wait. But anyway, see, and I think another reason we can count Jotaro is because I don't even think we have to exclusively say Part 3. He is Part 4. He is Part 6. He's heavily involved in multiple series or multiple parts of the series.
His character doesn't change.
And
we've already talked about this.
I'm not arguing that his character doesn't change. He is definitely an icon. JoJo's definitely a big show, but I do definitely agree that, Edward is huge. It's another anime where it's hard to not like the protagonist the most, or at least one of the top characters.
I don't like him.
What, Edward?
No, the other. I don't like the.
No, I'm talking about Fullmetal.
Okay. I was like, I don't.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that having Edward, I think it is hard to not put him in among your top of the top, if not your absolute favorite characters in the show because of how impactful and good he is. Whereas, Jotaro suffers the same fate as other people who fall, to some of his other characters. I mean, if we're being real, Polnareff's the main character, Part 3. But
he goes through more development than Jotaro.
Well, I'm saying I think it's hard to pin these two against each other because older fans will understand, older generations will understand. Some of the newer generations won't understand because they haven't seen it, and a lot of newer generations won't watch the older stuff. But if the newer generation would take the time to watch both these series, I don't think they would debate.
I think just in general, I think even JoJo fans know that Jotaro is not the strongest protagonist.
Oh, I mean, I believe that.
He's not the strongest as a character.
It really depends. Like I say, it all depends on different criteria you use. So,
Full Metal.
I'm gonna say that JoJo memes are better, so I'm gonna give it to Jotaro.
That's because you know who's going to win.
Metal.
Edward
3 times.
To be fair, I knew who was going to win, but yeah. If I'm using meme criteria, shut up. I gotta vote JoJo even if he loses. Next, we have Light from Death Note and Luffy from One Piece. The double L's. Oh, but it's not about L. Oh!
Now, I'll say this is...
L sucks!
This is
a really odd pairing.
This is an odd pairing. I think it's a wash. I think Luffy wins.
It's a wash!
But at the same time, I definitely
confusing that, ain't we?
I just like Light as a character. I think he's a really good character, and he has a lot of interesting scenes. But I just think it's a wash because Luffy, I think, it just develops better. I think he's a better character. I mean, I love the chip scene to death.
I mean, I can argue all day, so I'll go ahead and just make it simple. It's a wash because Light sucks.
You just don't like Death Note. Nobody understands why.
Oh no, everyone should understand why.
Don't worry, guys. We'll get to that podcast soon.
There are plenty of people who.
But anyway, it's gonna be Luffy. I don't think we.
My whole thing is that I think that it's incredibly interesting that Light, he's a protagonist who's a villain. You don't get that all that often.
Really, ever, but.
There's other Overlord.
I mean, there's a few. I'm saying there's a few, but I'm saying it's not as seen.
Featured on the podcast, Aaron says name something, and we proceed to name 30, and he's like, I get it! Yeah. I understand!
Alright. No, I mean, he's right. There isn't a whole lot. You can't name off just a whole lot.
Maybe, I guess in anime. I'm thinking more just in media in general, because there are, but yeah.
Yeah, no, in anime, that's kind of rare.
It's like when you see the villain win, like in Devil May Cry.
Devil Man?
Devil Man Crybaby, where the villain wins. You don't ever see that anymore.
But, so I definitely think he's interesting, complex, when it comes to that. And he's very, it's called, he's a great example of absolute power corrupting absolutely.
My name is Light, but my story is
starts off he's going to cure the world, and then he just goes crazy.
And there's interesting parts where when he loses his memory, he reverts back to the Light that's all about justice and stuff. Yeah. And then as soon as memory comes back, all that innocence is gone.
Oh, that anime is so unrealistic. How does he not have carpal tunnel by some point?
I hate you.
But...
Especially the way he eats his shit. Not just the writing. Not just writing 10 million things at once. The way he eats his food. He should really have snapped a tendon or something.
I hate you.
So,
You're just finding any reason not to like the anime. Luffy wins. Let's move on.
It's a wash!
He's upsetting me.
Are you voting for Luffy also?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay,
Light can suck
Then I'm
them.
going to vote for Light.
I was going to do the same thing.
Oh,
you were
yeah?
doing. I was
Yeah.
going to do the same thing you were going to do.
Oh yeah, y'all do that many wins. It's like what was it in the anime bracket? Digimon. How people...
You know what? You swayed me, Axel.
No!
Light moves on! 3 taps!
Oh,
No.
Luffy, you're out of here.
no,
It's
no,
Luffy.
it's Luffy.
Oh, no, I'm voting Light, bud.
Okay, then
Okay,
he's
then I'll
changing his
change my
vote.
vote to...
It's the.
I didn't vote yet.
It doesn't matter. We got 2 votes for Luffy.
I was only doing it because I thought it was a
It's
wash.
a
I
wash.
was making it not a wash.
That's-
All right, next we have Gone from Hunter x Hunter, and we have Kenshin from Kenshin.
Rurouni Kenshin.
Ooh,
Rurouni
Samurai.
I mean, we haven't seen everything Hunter x Hunter. I hate that we have such big hiatuses.
I got a lot to say about Go.
Like, Gon, I think, is... A lot of people say he's one-dimensional. I don't think that's a big thing.
I think he is the worst of the protagonists probably on
I
this
definitely
list.
think he
Like,
has
that's a
things
hot
that makes
take.
him good. And I definitely think Rurouni Kenshin is better. But I definitely think Gon, considering we haven't seen everything, and in our lifetime we're probably not going to see the anime.
You know, talk about character development. Look at what Kenshin did. He went from being Samurai X to being Smiles McGee.
But that's what I'm saying. I believe this is going to be a wash. But I want to say that Gon is. I think Gon is a good character
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a wash, and that's why I'm not going to shout it, even though I really wanna.
because
But
I definitely believe Rurouni Kenshin is a better protagonist. But I want to get my point across that Gon is a good character, even though
Yeah,
this
what
man
is
here.
what is act? I want to hear the.
I definitely think that he's just, like, very one-dimensional.
white
Like,
bread, bro.
Copy what I said.
But another thing, and this goes back to what Brandon was talking about with Naruto versus Deku. There are so many characters in Hunter. I like every other character in Hunter x Hunter besides Gon. Like,
but I mean, but you can still understand.
literally everyone. Even the lizard man from that one fucking episode, the one who like hid in the dirt or whatever, came out and got
Even his
smacked.
father.
Yes. Every character.
I don't know. I just think
His
Gon-
mother, who's only in it for 10 seconds.
I just think people overlook Gon as a character, and like I said,
I mean, he doesn't really go through a whole lot of development.
Well, I think that's
like,
the thing that's like Gon suffers through the amount of side characters are. I think he gets overshined by the side characters, which is how he wants to write his anime. But I think that's why he's not as looked at as he should be.
And it's also like, I mean, this is from the same creator who made Yusuke. So when you see how he went about Yusuke's transformation as a character from beginning to end, and then you see Gon, like, it's like night and day.
Oh, I mean,
like,
I think was like, and honestly, might have been intentional. He might have wanted to write an anime a different way than how he writ the other one.
it's just
written.
that
Sorry,
literally
sorry.
every side character gets more development than the main protagonist.
I hate you.
And that's not good.
No,
So
no,
that's why my vote is absolutely Rurouni Kenshin,
I'm
the manslayer.
I'm gonna do just because I want him to get a vote. Gon.
Batosai!
I just want to get.
I don't think it's a wash. I do think it's closer than
I
I'll give it
love
a credit.
Hunter x
Now, I
Hunter.
know we didn't talk about Kenshin all that much, but trust me, we're going to have an episode on that. It'll be...
It'll be a full-fledged discussion,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, I think
A lot of hot takes going everywhere.
I don't know. It'll be hot takes, but we'll
I
see.
think it'll be hot
Next, we have this one's more interesting. So we've got Tai from Digimon Digital Monsters, and we're gonna do just purely Maka from Soul Eater.
See, how do you define that? 'Cause I just think I just don't know if I think she's the main protagonist.
I mean, I don't know that that's a question. I mean, literally, it starts the show with her. It's got the whole thing with, like, the whole spiel with her and her father. It's got her, like, at the
But you
end
have
with
the
the
whole
kin...
spe- you
with
have the
the...
whole
It's
Feel
just,
the
that,
kid.
it's just that Black Star and Death the Kid are better.
I mean, you just got... But look, you have to look at... Okay, Alpha to Omega,
Soul by
beginning to
itself.
end. Look at... She's the one that spits out the intro. She's the one that's at the beginning of the first episode. She's the one at the end of the last episode.
I mean,
doesn't
I
defeat-
understand.
I don't think it's a question that she is...
I understand where you're coming from. I just don't, I guess, understand it. Like, because it's just like I said, it just would make more sense to like Black Star Kid.
So,
In
It'd
my
make more sense for Paul and Riff to be the protagonist, part 3.
It's different.
That's
So-
not it.
you know, this makes me... Since Maka's the one we're going with, this makes me vote Tai.
Well, I mean,
that was a quick. That wasn't. You're like no discussion needed.
I'll discuss. Tai, I think, is an amazing character. I think from beginning to end, and how much you see Tai, and how much he leads the group, how much of a protagonist he actually is. I think he's amazing. The way he leads everybody, he pulls everybody together. When they split up, when they all got back together, they blamed him, and then at the same time, they eventually came to Tai's understanding and came together back as friends.
Another thing is the Tri movies, which are canon, show really they show how he's matured,
and how much better he got. Just to think from beginning to end how he changed and how much better he got at being a protagonist.
If I remember correctly, he's sort of he's the spawn, he's the main idol or whatever for getting people to go in between. Yeah.
He is from beginning to the end. He is the protagonist. He is the leader. He pushes everything forward, and that is why I think Tai is a much better protagonist than Maka. I'm hoping you have something to shine on Maka, because Maka, as far as me going, she's a cool character and she's interesting. I just don't think she changes and she goes through things, but I just don't think it's comparable to Tai.
She's so cute.
I don't know. She just learns to trust people.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't think the things they went through is comparable by any means.
I do I definitely like Maka, though. That's why, again, I'm not screaming that it's a wash. But Soul Eater is one of my more favorite animes. And I know that's a hot take, too, because it is very different from the manga. I'm a huge fan of the manga, too, and I think the manga is better, but I definitely get a lot of entertainment value from the
I do, too. And Soul Eater is really good for me. I can rewatch it most days and still enjoy it. But I'm just saying, Tai just does so much.
Maka's very cute. She's definitely got a charm to her. She does work hard to, accomplish her goals. She has a lot of the main tropes that a lot of the people have, and she has her, relationship with her father, her odd relationship with her partner.
My negative with her is she's not very good, from Tai's perspective, she's not very good at keeping the team together, as far as I don't think she's a very oh, you're my friend, come do this, help us out.
She's definitely not as charismatic.
Yeah, she's not as big of a leader, and you can tell that because she can't even really control her her weapon. She has trouble
in some way that makes her a more interesting character.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
I just personally enjoy watching a main protagonist bring people together.
Makes her feel more real, or more feasible. People can see themselves being Maka as opposed to being one of the epic of the, and I think that going back, that's another thing about Deku that people like. Even though you don't have the superpowers and you don't have the powers Maka has, I think people can see themselves in those shoes, because even though they seem a little plain Jane and they don't stand out like the other people, you don't have to stand out. You can just be a normal person and still be someone that people are like, I love Maka, she's just so cute and such a neat, and it's in slice of life anime.
Keep going back to cute. Do we have a discussion?
Anyway,
Jesus.
Excalibur is the protagonist. I should have lived with that, because I don't think
you said the word cute for her 5 times.
Anyway, all right. So we're gonna do Tai versus the cute girl. I'm voting cutie waifu tag to me, Maka.
Tai is just a god. He is a.
On to the next. Neither of y'all want to vote because it's a wash. Anyway,
he is
just the opposite. So, then running it back, that is our first round of it. So, we are going to go to the second round of it. We have...
Not a lot of discussion in this one.
Ichigo, I don't know.
We already talked about
versus Ash Ketchum.
So, we've made our peace with both of these characters. Well, maybe not as much Ichigo as Ash. We went in good enough detail.
Oh, yeah, the other ones. Ichigo is just, I think...
Ichigo, as I said, he's a reactionary character. You can't understand him really, because anytime there's hardship or he needs to power up or whatever, it's literally just given to him. It's oh, you were actually born.
There's no
Quincy,
emotion.
blah, blah,
I don't think there's any.
There's
emotion.
Not a whole lot
There's no emotion.
You can't relate to Ichigo. Things just happen to him and he.
What are you talking about? My hair is literally orange, and I'm also part hollow.
Okay, so. I'm voting Pokemon.
Yeah, Ash wins.
I'm part hollow after a good,
I'm voting
good bathroom break. I'll give it to Ash, too. I won't be contrary this time.
I don't like Bleach as a character.
I don't like Bleach as a character either. Bleach sucks.
All it does I don't like Ichigo.
All it does is clean my show. That's spicy.
I don't like Ichigo as a character.
Next, we have Naruto versus Yusuke. You're a man.
This I will say. wash.
So these two characters are great examples of character development throughout the whole story, but Yusuke's is just executed better.
Yeah, I think Yusuke's is infinitely executed
Yes.
better. I will. It's a wash. Haven't used it in a bit, and again, it's funny because of what an icon Naruto is compared to Yusuke.
I think they're
Naruto
both
is,
icons.
Yeah, but I'm saying Naruto, I definitely think is more recognizable. If you took 100 random people and showed them a picture of
it
both,
would be
more
one of
people
those
are
things
gonna-
like in Japan, maybe Ichigo. I mean, not Ichigo.
Yeah.
Yusuke's known more or something like
That's
that.
fair.
But
Western audiences,
Western, it's Naruto.
Three tap.
online.
out. Yeah, and, like you see freaking Naruto headbands in like every
Oh,
hobby
that's
shop.
fair,
When was the
that's
last
fair.
time you saw anything?
Also,
But-
Yusuke has a gun.
But Blicky shoot style.
Glock.
Next we have Edward, brother Edward versus Luffy. Took a bite of gum. Ooh!
I gotta give it to Fullmetal.
Oh my God! You're just out the gate with these. No discussion.
We've already talked about the both of these. I just think Edward, like,
Brother.
I've watched it
What's
a
your
lot.
vote, Brandon?
Oh, you're gonna get it last.
Like, I've watched Fullmetal a lot. I've watched One Piece a lot. I just think Fullmetal, like, is a better character.
I don't know that it's not. Well, you didn't say it was a wash.
No,
I don't think it's a wash, but I
I'm
don't think-
going
okay.
with Luffy.
Oh, boy! Oh, it's up to me.
I know what you're
My
thinking.
reasoning is because he actually is a good example of like a good captain throughout the story. Like he develops because at first he thinks, oh, I can just go in and just do whatever.
But then he learns that he
everything will
can't
be
do
fine.
that.
But when he loses Ace, from that point on, he's much like he knew he needed to take 2 years off to train.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I get it. I prefer Fullmetal as a character.
and that's fine. I just know that part of it's enjoyment. Like I enjoy Luffy's character
I
progression
don't want to
more.
have gold last
And
round.
also Luffy lasts forever.
What's your vote, Brandon?
Man, it's tough. Yeah,
Considering you haven't watched a lot of Bleach.
using my-
I mean, One Piece.
I've watched a fair bit.
Now it compares to how many episodes there are.
I've probably seen more than half. I would say more than half.
You watched more than 500 episodes.
What the?
I watched a lot. I watched a whole
Last
lot.
time I talked to you.
I thought you only got to a nil.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
No, I got past it. I
So
watched
did you
a
get
lot
past
with y'all.
Marineford?
Marineford,
'Cause that's like
yes,
halfway
I
point.
think.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Marineford's also just like that's where
we're
Ace
getting into
starts.
another
It's just-
discussion we'll
anyway.
have later.
Okay, I will give it to Luffy. I'll give it to
I
Luffy.
hate
I think
everybody.
I just have okay. So this is my thing. Even if I've missed out on a chunk of the anime, I think that's the point.
I say I hate y'all, but I definitely understand that. It was an internal decision for me.
because One Piece fans, like Brotherhood, is arguably the best anime of all time, but One Piece fans stick to their guns. They love Luffy. He's not, he may not be everyone's absolute favorite from the show, but he's celebrated by almost every
people
fan.
are still watching, and there are like 1,000+ episodes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's such
So
a
he
big
has
deal.
to be doing something
One Piece
right.
is probably
and I
the
do like
greatest manga of all time.
Oh,
too.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Hands
definitely.
down. All right, so I guess Luffy moves on.
Then we have back to
You're a little
Samurai X
What?
You're a
Rurouni
little happy.
Kenshin, and we
Yeah.
have Tai from Digimon.
Who?
Well, my whole side of the
Rurouni
Manslayer cuts off.
But
Just cuts him down.
It's a wash. What's up, Aaron?
Yeah,
Aaron talked about Tai like he was like the greatest
He is. I
last
think
round.
he's a god protagonist. He literally does so
Oh
much
my God!
for his anime. He does so much as
my
a character.
God!
Like, if you
That's
don't believe
fair.
that, I think you're crazy.
I think the complicated nature of Batosai the Manslayer.
but I'm just saying he's
Kenshin
acting like I'm
Himura.
stupid for
No,
saying Ty's a god.
I get it.
just-
Trust me, Tai is comparable to someone like Yugi or Ash. He's even in that similar genre of monster battle and stuff like that, where he definitely does so much. He's got so many different, he's got different
It's
theories.
just a
he pulls stuff
character like
together.
Kenshin knocks character development and the aspects
I
of
mean,
the protagonist out of the ballpark.
I don't think it's a wash. Y'all can say whatever you want. I'm picking Ty.
I just think
I don't
it was,
remember if I yelled it was a wash. If I did, it was ironic. But because
I'm going Ty.
I like Tai in the sense of the same thing with Ash and stuff. I will give it to Batosai.
Yeah, because I just think he was paired up kind of sad. Like it was sad. Like I mean, it was
Yeah,
great
maybe,
that Ty
maybe
made
we
it
should.
this far.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that was a big
That's
thing.
the thing.
Yeah.
Like if Ty versus Ash, that's a discussion.
Yeah.
It is.
Or
It
Ty
is.
versus Yugi. I think Ash has to be the best of those three, but
I
Ty
don't
versus
think
Yugi.
so.
Anyway, so then we have the semis, baby. We have Pokemon's Ash Ketchum versus a Yusuke.
Spirit Gun, get this out of the way.
Goodbye, it's a wash!
It is a wash, even though I'm biased.
See, and again, like, this is a same exact argument as the last one. It is that you have a wonderful, beloved, iconic character in Ash Ketchum, and I think using that criteria, you would get a totally different answer. But I think just based on the premises we're looking at and the things we discussed, again, Yusuke is just such high tier. He is high tier.
He's
protagonist.
got-
He's
God
close
tier.
to the
He's
pinnacle of like what you want in a protagonist.
God
Like,
tier.
Absolutely.
God tier.
Next in the semis, you have the boy Luffy versus Batosai.
Oh, what are you gonna say about this, asshole?
What do you mean? Like,
You love both these characters.
I do. This is kind of tough.
It's not tough for me, but
I mean, I'm gonna say Kenshin. Like,
I gotta give it
his
to my boy Luffy.
his philosophy of never hurting something, like, especially if you watch the Samurai X OVA.
Yes.
Like, his philosophy after that fact of never using, a blade to cut someone down or kill again. The so many times that he was on the narrow line of doing it again, becoming the Batosai.
Yeah.
Like, each one
Yeah,
of those
taste
moments
for
just,
Yeah.
it's just great.
I just think Luffy, like I understand that and I get it, but I just think Luffy, like, he just keeps getting better as a character. I think he keeps changing in the way we want.
Well, so does Batosai.
I said I understand him. Like, I understand why you pick him, but I'm just saying, like, give me my reasons why I'm picking Luffy.
That's fine.
Luffy just keeps changing. He keeps understanding.
You picked Edward quick over Luffy.
I said I had an internal decision on that.
No, I know, but I'm saying you definitely you had strong opinions on Edward over
I had
Luffy.
strong opinions on both.
I know, but I'm curious about, like, so if you would pick Edward over Luffy, does that mean Edward versus Kenshin is not even close to you? See, because that's where I'm feeling weird about it. That's because don't get me wrong, I would pick Kenshin over Edward. I definitely would.
Yeah.
But that Edward and like Luffy one was still kind of close to me. I'm in a weird spot. I don't know how. Like, again, your criteria. It's all criteria. Criteria
It
definitely
is all
matters.
And it's fine that you
criteria.
have different criteria.
Yeah.
But
So my thing with Kenshin is, like, he goes through so much. Because if you've seen the OVA series, you know that he's similar to Vashta Stampede. He pretends to be like this happy wanderer and all that, but there's still this sadness within him for what he'd done in the past, similar to, Vashta Stampede. And he's made this promise, also similar to Vash, to never harm again. And he's always like, there's all these times where he's on the border of doing so. And at the same time, he's learning to love again. Like,
I understand that. It's just with One Piece and Luffy and just One Piece in general. It's just like, I love how One Piece does Luffy and does the crew and does it almost like every genre.
I think Oda is an amazing author.
Every genre. It's
great
almost
at
like
making
he puts
characters.
every genre
in every
into,
different island. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and it works. It works so good for One
Like,
Piece.
if we were talking about world building, fucking One Piece would win.
But that's a discussion
doubt.
for another
I
day.
don't like this.
But
man.
I gotta do One Piece. Give my man
So,
Luffy
2
his respect.
Kenshin and 1 Luffy.
That's
He's shedding.
I'm still thinking.
Oh, sway my
It's
boy.
bad.
You can't.
I
Luffy's
think-
so
I
good.
think-
He
okay.
keeps changing. It hasn't
Shut up!
finished. It
Anyway,
hasn't finished.
okay.
Neither is Kenshin.
This is
They're in the Hokkaido one.
this is the hardest one for me so far. This one is
The next round will be easy.
You want to roll a dice?
no. This is what I'm gonna do. Because it is hard for me. I think I would be doing a disservice to anime fans. How do you guys say you don't know? You don't.
And why are you
Because I'm gonna
picking?
pick Luffy.
Yeah.
I'm picking Luffy.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Yes,
because
that's
I
what
would be
I should be
I would be
saying.
doing a disservice to anime fans because it is hard. It is this difficult for me, and I have missed a chunk of One Piece. I have missed a chunk. I don't know the recents of it and everything. I mean, that's fair,
One Piece
too.
also just keeps gaining new generation of fans.
But of what I've seen, like I say, from what the anime has to offer, from what I've seen so far, and to see, like I say, how fans of the show of One Piece react to Luffy as a character, how beloved he is, I think I would be doing a disservice to not pick him. This one is very difficult. It's very close for me. But because it's close, if I'm going to use some sort of leverage as a tiebreaker, I'll use the unknown and what I see from other people. So I'll give it to Luffy, which brings us to the finals, which would be Luffy versus a Yusuke or Meshi, which is another toughie. Oh, it's a wash for Axel. Again, I don't think it's a wash, but I've got my vote! I don't know that it's a wash, but I've got my vote!
I hate to say a wash, because I do think Luffy's a great protagonist, but as I said before, I think that Yusuke's like the pinnacle, like the prime example of a great protagonist.
Yep.
Yep. So
I think it's obvious where this is going. I mean, Aaron has to give his vote, but again, it don't matter.
Mine's going to be a hot take because it's One Piece. I just
that's not.
See, I don't think it's a hot take. I don't.
You all are acting like pinnacle.
He is. Okay.
That's not a hot take because that's what most people would say.
But
If
you guys,
Yusuke is S tier. If Yusuke is S tier, you could have like Luffy at high A tier. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a wash. It's just Yusuke is everything that I like in a protagonist. Yusuke is that. That's what
my
he
big
is
criteria for One Piece is Luffy keeps changing. I use everything around Luffy and just how he interacts with everybody. I think it's just amazing.
Okay, look, he took a bite of Gum Gum.
I think he's just amazingly written around his characters and the everything. Like,
I mean, that's true. That's talking a little bit more about the show, about how.
Well, I said how he interacts with everybody.
It's about how the world is being shaped through him.
So well,
though. What I'm saying is how people
and in turn the world shaping him.
Everybody. But yeah.
But I'm going with Yusuke.
Yusuke.
So y'all are going with Yusuke?
Yeah, you're a Meshi.
So the winner of the
A2B1
tournament is
Yusuke.
You're a Meshi.
God, you missed it. You missed it. I was hoping you were gonna do the drum roll and say Luffy. That's why I started to do it. I heard you say the Y. Quit trying to sign language at me, Axel. Say it out loud. The customer, the viewers, want to hear it.
If you were going to be able to record next week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be able to record.
I've got some next week, guys, we'll talk about Yu Yu Hakusho as a whole.
We will talk about Yu Yu Hakusho as a whole. You'll get a lot more of this. And, ironically, we didn't do this bracket to lead up to that. That's not what this was. This was unrelated.
No, unrelated at all.
But
he won the belt.
It does not. He still got the belt. But yeah, we'll discuss it further in depth. It wasn't necessarily planned this way. It worked out this way. But I think, again, going into it, had a good idea. Like, hearing other people's perspectives and hearing things that, you may have forgotten from the shows, I think definitely shaked up a little bit there. I mean, with Aaron with his washes, he had a little bit of a divisiveness.
I was saying, if you want to hear more of like how we talked about some of these animes, like I said, we have more episodes you can watch. We talk more in depth about a lot of these series,
and we'll get to all of them eventually.
Oh yeah, eventually we're going to cover like so much.
We've got more. Some we've already covered. Got some for the future.
If you like our conversations and like how we handle our episodes, go ahead and give us a like button, a subscribe. Check us out weekly.
Don't like us. Give us a like button.
Yeah, like button.
You make one custom.
Yeah,
you 100%. Send it to us. We will give you our PO.
If you put a like button, if you put a like button in the comments, I will let you say what we talk about next. That is how I'm going to decide this.
You know what you really should though do is you should give us a what's the 1 million subscriber on YouTube? What's that? A platinum play button? That's what you.
It's a gold play.
Gold play button. That's what y'all should
Platinum's
be giving us.
Really, really big one.
Yeah, definitely give that to us. I instead of making forging
10 million, I think.
He said how many? 10 million?
Is the platinum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
100,000 is silver.
So that is definitely what we want. That's the goal.
But like I said, if you put a picture of a like button in the comments, I will let you pick the next thing we talk about.
Oh, that'd be interesting because they're gonna pick Baku no Pico.
Please don't do that. I mean, that's what they'll do. So right. That's what I said.
So anyway, give us a like, subscribe, ring the bell, get some notifications. Also, by the way, for anyone who's into some virtual cons, this year 2020 has been a little bit crazy. And I know this is not an advert. I mean, I guess it's a plug. But we know that cons have been kind of dead this year, thanks to the old.
Is real with us.
Oh yeah, it's bad because of old virus boy that's been lurking out in 2020. So, Bacharu Con, BACHARU Con 2020. Look it up. You can find it on Facebook. There's an event page. It's going to be an online con that's going to be hosted on VR chat. We actually will have a panel on that chat. We'll hopefully have an update for you here soon that we can leave in the description for our exact panel slot time. We'll be doing a live episode then. And as of this recording, 12/5/2020, it's going to be the following weekend. So definitely check us out. 12/12 and 12/13 are the 2 days. Haven't figured out what slot we'll get, but as soon as we figure that out, we will let y'all know. Like I said, in the description down below. Check us out at BacharuCon, and we will definitely, hopefully, see y'all there, but we'll for sure see you on the next episode. Thank you, everyone, and tune in next time to the A2B1 podcast.